everyone. My name is Yombo Rahman from Audencia here. I work on the international admissions team, and I'm joined by my colleague Shaila, who's on the careers.
Yeah. So my name is Shaila. I'm part of the Audencia Career Center, and everybody at the Career Center here, we have a background in HR and recruiting, and we help students with developing their professional career paths as they come into the school.
Great. So I'll start with a general presentation of Audencia, then we'll talk precisely about the full-time MBA program, which I guess is what you guys are interested in. Okay, so let's get started. So Audencia Business School is really known for excellence in business and management education. We're more than 100 years old. We're ranked top 6 in France and top 40 in Europe. And we're recognized all around the globe because we're triple accredited.
Yeah.
We're accredited EQUIS, ACSB, and AMBA, which are the 3 main international accreditations for business education. So you can be rest assured that your degree will be recognized all around the globe. And yes, indeed, these are our accreditations. And there are only 1% of schools around the globe that actually have this triple crown. So you can be also rest assured that you'll be in really the Ivy Leagues of schools here in Europe. Our values here at Audencia is innovation, cooperation, and responsibility. And within whatever program you take on campus, that will ring true. Audencia, specifically in terms of responsibility, worked with the UN on defining the principle of responsible management education. So we're pioneers in this domain of CSR and responsibility.
Yeah. In 2004, we were the first European business school to sign up for the United Nations Global Compact.
Indeed.
So we have a very good reputation on that front.
Mm-hmm. And just to go through some of our rankings, I guess what you guys are interested in is the full-time MBA. And I can say that the full-time MBA is ranked 5th in the world for student diversity. So you will be in a classroom with people from right across the globe. So you're not only learning how business works in France and in Europe, you're learning how business works globally through your classmates, but also through your faculty. Our faculty is also very much international. We have about 49% international faculty members, and The Economist also ranks us as 22nd for faculty quality. So that just goes to show the quality of the education you get here on campus. To talk a bit more about the figures, Audencia is a graduate school of business, so you have very close contact with and the staff here on campus. It's about 5,300 students on campus, and about 39% of that is international. Moving on swiftly. Some of the things we're known for, especially on the MBA program, a lot of our graduates go on to be consultants or entrepreneurs. Those are some of the big domains that come out from our MBA graduates, but also some of the other things we're known for.
Yeah, in terms of our network, what's really interesting with a business school like Audencia is that we have a network of alumni around the world as well as in France. Obviously, because we're a French business school, we have professionals working in corporates all over here, but it also extends onto Europe and the rest of the world. We have more than 26,000 alumni, but what we also end up doing is we have little groups that we've created called chapters. And we have 36 chapters around the world where there are after-work events happening, there's networking options, there are also sometimes career events that we end up doing. And for France, we have 8 chapters dedicated to this particular zone. And out of this, we also have some clubs which are more related to sectors or functions. Like, for example, we have a consulting club, or we have a marketing or a finance one. So if in case any of these interest you, even as a young student, we highly encourage you to create your account, ask to be involved in these networks, and participate actively. So it allows you to really use your classes, but also go out and network and build that international aspect as you go along. Maybe a little bit more information for you on the career services, which is for the MBAs in specific. For the moment, what we really like about our MBA program is that it's small and therefore we customize a lot of the career services needs. We have workshops happening all through the year. We start a lot of our workshops with getting to know yourself better. So we might use personality tools. You will 100% go through something like an MBTI, which is a fantastic tool to get to know yourself better and to also work better in teams, because half the time as young managers or people who want to end up leading teams in the future, it's very important to also understand this interpersonal dynamics. So we have self-development. We also have basics like CVs, cover letter, interviews. And if some of you are looking to work, I don't know, specifically in the consulting world or the investment banking world, we run a lot of very specific workshops as well on case studies, assessment centers. We also have tools where you can prep by yourself. Like, for example, we have online tests that a lot of companies are using these days. And we've got an excellent tool called Graduate First, which we buy and which is free for all the students. And another really interesting thing for the MBAs, and that's very specific to your program because it's not open to all programs, is we actually fly in career experts from around the world to come in and spend a day or two with the MBA cohort. For example, we have somebody who's called Daniel Poro. He has tremendous experience in career services. He even goes out and does a lot of these workshops with INSEAD and HEC and the other business schools. And he comes in and talks to you about networking and designing your career. We also have one or two other people systematically that we change every year based on the needs of the students. So as you integrate into the MBA, we keep doing a lot of internal surveys to understand what you want. And if there's one defining quality or one specific need that comes out of this group of MBAs, we're also very happy to go find an expert if it's not internally possible to get them on board and to run career services programs. Yes, and what is interesting is that we have our group of alumni, like we mentioned, and then we also have our corporate partners. So we're tied up with more than 150 partners, partner companies around the world. And what is also nice is that we have more and more Audencia students who are looking to go the entrepreneurial way. So we're tying up with more startups. It's an interesting trend that's coming up. And we have more and more Audencia students going out and creating companies on their own. So entrepreneurship seems like it's going to be a big thing for us in the next couple of years. And for me, another way in which young MBA students like you can really go out and use the force of Audencia is by going out and talking to people that are that have careers in your dream companies. You know, go out and we will facilitate the exchange. In fact, during the MBA, at least once a year, we end up doing 1 or 2 day trip, a corporate trip to Paris with the entire team. So we go to Paris for a day or two. We end up meeting alumni working there. We meet a couple of companies. So that allows you to really get in touch with the market while you're doing an MBA. So if there are any like really important career questions that you're considering, it's a great place to ask those.
Indeed, because the full-time MBA program is primarily based in our campus here in Nantes, in northwest of France, which is about 2 hours on the train from Paris. We'll talk a bit about the city in a few minutes. But we also have a campus in Paris, and there'll be a lot of opportunities to network in Paris and meet our alumni and meet our companies. A lot of our graduates do end up working in Paris, but there are such close links between the two cities that happens naturally.
And we also end up doing a couple of after-work drinks every once in a while, either in Nantes or in Paris or elsewhere. So if we have MBAs or other alumni that are interested in having a drink, you know, during those slots, they're always encouraged to go in and register.
Great. So talking about our locations. So in Nantes, we actually have 4 campuses. One dedicated to graduate programs, where you will be mainly based for full-time MBA. It's our main campus where most of our students are based. One dedicated to bachelor's, another dedicated to communication media studies, and then the exec center, which will also have classes within the exec center. So you can mix with also those on the part-time exec programs. There'll be a lot of networking opportunities for that. because as part of the MBA program, we don't just see you as being in a program, but we see you as being part of a global Audencia MBA community, and that for life. So you'll have a lot of networking opportunities among. Talk a bit about Nantes. I love the statistic. It's voted as second best French city for expats. And that really is true, and we're expats ourselves. And I must say, I love living in Nantes. It's a very welcoming city. It's a very student city, but buzzing in terms of its economy. And we'll talk a bit more about that in a few minutes.
And I personally love the quality of life. Yeah. It's got really nice green open spaces, lots of parks and lakes, and interesting things to do. Even culturally, I feel like there's a lot of really interesting music and art that I end up seeing in the city.
The cultural industry here in Nantes is buzzing, I must say, and even greater than Paris. Nantes is really known for its creative and cultural industries, and this is where it happens, and this is where we nurture our startups. So Nantes is the sixth biggest city in France. It's the capital of the region here, Pays de la Loire, the Loire Valley, as some of you might know, and 2 hours on the train from Paris. Voted in 2013 as a green capital, EU green capital. And this year is EU's innovation capital. So we're very excited about that. And I think it's really just a stamp of quality of all, what's been happening here in Nantes, and the buzzing startup and industry that we have here. We at Audencia organize a lot of community activity. We're very much worked hand in hand with the city council and the industrial development here in the city of Nantes. And one of those ways is also that we kind of have all our corporate partners participate in this amazing triathlon once a year that we organize from scratch for some of our students. It's really is one of our great, amazing events.
Yeah, and the fact that honestly that we're a more than 100-year-old school, we're really deeply entrenched in the territory. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that we end up doing even locally. And we have the international population that's present in the school. So it makes for a pretty interesting mix of locally being able to exploit all the different events and opportunities that we have, but also have more than 50 nationalities. How many nationalities do we have?
Here on campus, we've gone
more than that.
More than that. So it's 39% international students here on campus. And in terms of nationalities, we're at 102 plus.
Really?
Different nationalities, So yes, you'll have the opportunity to really meet the world here on campus. And to talk a bit about Nantes and some of the key industries, agribusiness is big. We're here in the Loire Valley, so there is a lot of agricultural land outside of the city, and the industry is booming. Aeronautics is huge. Airbus has one of its main headquarters here in the city of Nantes. Shipbuilding is huge. We have the Saint-Nazaire port here beside us, and that's a huge industry there. And Audencia is, as we said, goes beyond Nantes, because we have our presence also in Paris, in China, Shenzhen, in China, Beijing. And let me talk to you a bit more about our programs now. To give you a general overview, these are all kind of at graduate level, the programs we have here on campus. Most of our programs are taught in English. We're very much international school, but the opportunity also to study in France and live in France and maybe improve your French while you're here. That's what that program offers, and so you can kind of sell the fact that you've acquired a master's, but also acquired a new language skill at the same time.
Absolutely, and also look, even in terms of career services, all our workshops could be in French or in English, depending on the public and also depending on the needs of the students. Like you could get your CV Express, which is where you can come in and you can get a quick correction of your CV, and you can choose whether you want to get your French CV or your English CV corrected. So it actually gives you this possibility to kickstart your language skills, but also get in the recruiter's feel from the market, which could be interesting.
So those are all our programs. A shout out at the question and answer moment. Whether you have any other questions about any of our other programs, I'll be happy to reply. But today we'll be talking primarily about the full-time MBA program. So the full-time MBA is a one-year program, dedicated program for those that have at least 3 years full-time work experience. It is a program for professionals, and it's a professional program, meaning that you have a lot of applied learning within the MBA program. All your classes will include case studies from industry, and some of them where the industry is actually concretely looking for your reply and your feedback on their problems. We'll talk a bit more about the structure there, and you'll see how it pans out in a few minutes. Within the MBA program, your first semester is generalist, and then in the second semester, you'll be able to go swiftly into your concentration. So we give the opportunity, although an MBA is always a generalist program, it's giving you a holistic view of business and management in general, so that you can manage across different teams. You're not leaving out necessarily an expert only in one domain. However, we do give the opportunity to concentrate on maybe where you have, where you're missing that knowledge, where you'd like to kind of complete your knowledge in your second semester. So that can be either in corporate finance or entrepreneurship and transformation. As we said, entrepreneurship is huge here on campus. Or in phase 2, you could either concentrate on strategic corporate social responsibility. As we mentioned, that's one of our key specializations here on campus, or innovation and new product development.
Yeah, and also along with all of this, there's also a lot of group work that happens with the MBAs. So you learn to work easily with different nationalities. And when we at the careers, when we keep looking at the future of work and what companies are looking for, there's always a key emphasis on the soft skills, which is leadership skills, communication skills, getting work done, also sensitivity to intercultural management. And these are exactly the skills that the full-time MBA will allow you to test and also improve. And we've got a whole bunch of workshops also on managing stress, managing time, managing teams. And also for me, a key factor would be you being able to, sitting in home country or outside of it, dealing with vast teams from around the world, or you yourself working outside of your home country.
Indeed, as you can see, personal development, career development is, really the cornerstone and the base of this program, and you'll have it from day one to the very end of your program. You'll have the support of our careers team all along the way, and the MBA is that opportunity to step out of the workforce and really just reevaluate where you're at and see, where that dream job lies, and we're there academically and career-wise to support you in terms of getting there. Another key element of the full-time MBA program is the consultant project, where you'll have about 5 weeks to work within a company in groups of 3 or 4, and it's often a great way for our companies to test you out, to see whether they'd like to recruit from our MBA program. So we have a number of corporations that propose consulting projects within the full-time MBA, and those can span from startups to huge corporations. Last year we had Rono on the program. The list is very long in terms of our corporate partners. And one last thing to mention is your final project stage. Basically, the program is from September to June academically and class-wise. So for those 9 months, you need to physically be in Nantes in France. And then after that, you can be anywhere in the world for your final project stage. And that's with the assistance of our professors at a distance, still helping you create your business. Or you could choose to do some research, or you can choose to do a corporate internship in business analysis. And we say corporate internship, but some of our graduates also actually land a full-time job in June, and that's fine too. The only thing is that in order to wrap up your program, we'll be expecting this business analysis before December.
Yeah, and I think there's a thesis to be submitted.
Indeed. So that final project stage is very much flexible. So, to give you a bit of statistics on our full-time MBA program, 57% work internationally, and meaning the rest of them work in France. So there's a mix there. Everything is possible. Obviously, if you want to work in France, you'd want to work on your language skills also at the same time. Although you'd be going for the international roles, and a lot of the international French corporations love our international MBA candidates because of their experience and then how they complement that with the program. But those that manage to get in the door the quickest are those that have acquired a bit of French language skill before arrival on the MBA program and have nurtured that during the MBA program.
Yeah, as a careers consultant, if you want one top tip for me, if you're considering coming to France, is enroll for the French classes now, so that you have enough time to just start using the language, because it's also one part of it is for your work, if in order for you to deal with a local population, and the second part of it is also again to just integrate into the culture of the company, because if you're based in Paris or anywhere else in France, there's a high chance that during lunch people are probably going to talk a little bit of French, and it's always nicer to understand the jokes and be able to integrate well into the culture of the company. So that's a recommendation from us.
And no matter where you want to work, our careers team is there to support you. A lot of our graduates, as I said again, 57% of them work internationally, and we're there to support you wherever you want to work. And our network and our alumni network spans right across the globe. So we can definitely find someone doing what you want to do in the country you want to do it in. And part of our job is to link you up with those alumni. So yeah, the world is your oyster. So, some practical information about the full-time MBA program. Programs start in September of every year. The MBA is recognized by the French state. It's an RNCP degree for those that have five years or more work experience. It's just a requirement for that French state stamp. Beyond that, we're internationally recognized. So no matter what, your degree is recognized by our FSACC and AMBER accreditors. Program is, based here in Nantes. Tuition is about 31,500 euros, but there are scholarship opportunities available. So if you have any questions, let me know after this. One of our key things is to apply early. Apply before January 31st. So get going before the Christmas break.
Because I heard there's a good deal for that.
Yes, indeed. Basically, for those that applied for January 31st, tuition is 15,750. There's a 50% tuition fee waiver for those that applied for January 31st. So we really want to encourage you motivated candidates to apply early so that you can avail of that exceptional funding we have. And it really is also thanks to our corporate partnerships and the funding in-house here we have on campus to be able to support our MBA graduates. So do apply before January 31st. What do you need to apply? Basically, we're basing your admissions primarily on your work experience. So we need that clearly explained in your CV. We want to look at the duration and the kind of positions you've been in. So that's important. And then we're basing it also on your academic results. So those are the two main things we need. Your transcripts of records and your CV. Anything else can really come later on, meaning that the GMAT jury is required for the program, but we don't use it for admissions. Our international accreditors require all our MBA graduates to come on day one with the GMAT or GRE. So September 1st is your deadline, but you could gain admissions without it, gain your visa without it, come on campus without it, but your academic director will want it on day one, since your program is internationally accredited.
Maybe just clarify one thing. Here, the 3 years relevant experience is a minimum that we need.
Indeed.
But on an average, every time that we look at the MBAs, they have between 5 to 7 years easily. An average work experience of 5 to 7 is normal. So if any of you out there have more work experience, don't worry about it, because we also have a fairly experienced lot of people wanting to register for our MBAs.
Indeed, you've been in a classroom with other professionals like yourself, and that's what makes the MBA magic compared to other master's programs. It's the opportunity to interact with peers at the same level as you and share your experiences and develop that network that you will have for life. In terms of the requirement, another question I get is English language requirement. If you're an English native speaker, obviously we won't require an English test. If you've also studied through the English language at university level, we won't require the English test. Beyond that, we most likely will need you to send in an English test. Again, it depends on the two main things we look at, your CV and your work experience. They count for the bulk of what we're looking for. And if your application is borderline, we might need the English test to come in more rapidly. If your application is already very strong, we'll be happy to confirm your admissions after the interview, where we'll also be double checking your English. We'll be able to confirm your admissions even without the English test. And we might just ask you to send it in later on. So don't let any of these tests hold you back. The key thing is to get your application in as early as possible.
And if you have questions along the way, feel free to start typing them, because soon we'll finish our presentation and we'll be more than happy to answer all your questions, however specific they could be.
So we talked about the early application tuition fee waiver. Beyond that, we do have other scholarships, notably a diversity scholarship if your nationality is underrepresented within the program. Let us know what nationality you are, and if you have a question, I'd be happy to give you an idea about that, whether you might be eligible or not. So on our website, you'll have more information on the MBA program, so feel free to have a look at that. And just very quickly, because I know that you guys are wondering about what life here on campus is like. We really do have a buzzing student life with associations and sports clubs and arts and cultural clubs to join, depending on your interest. And housing is often a concern for some of our international students. Be rest assured that you will have access to either student residence or information about living with French families or sharing with other students. Once you are registered in the program, you have access to a dedicated portal just for you. And we have basically also hired a professional housing agent to work with you and making sure you secure the perfect accommodation for yourself, whether that's really close to the campus, or you want to be in the heart of the city, or in the creative district on the island here in Nantes. That's all possible. In terms of budget, this is what we're looking at about 750 euro to 900 euros per month to live in Nantes. The advantage of Nantes compared to Paris is that it's half the price. Paris is twice as expensive as Nantes. So basically, living in Nantes, you can live affordably, but still be close enough to Paris to network. Yeah, and we have a great team of French students here that organize cultural events for our international students. And when you get on campus, you meet them from day one. To apply, it's apply.audencia.com. So go onto our website first, have a look at the program details, and then you'll be able to apply through apply.audencia.com. It's a very simple application form, and all we're looking for is just you to scan over your CV and transfer some records. Then you have an interview via Skype, and pretty much immediately after the interview, or within, on average, 7 working days, you have your final admissions results. So within a week or two, the whole process could be over, and you will know whether you have admissions or not. Then you can get back to us whether you'd like to accept that place. This is the international admissions team, and you'll be in touch with one of us, several of us doing your admissions process. So this is what we look like. And you can contact us at international@audencia.com. All your queries to that. But I'd love to get some queries now. So if you have any questions, shout out. Myself on the admissions team and Shiloh on careers would be happy to respond to you.
Thank you for your meaningful presentation. We have some questions. So, is GMAT obligatory for admission? How important is it? That's the first question.
Very good. Is it necessary for admissions? No. How important is it? It depends on your overall profile. So again, the 2 main important things is your work experience, and we want to see that through your CV, and your academic records. if that's strong, if you're a straight A student, and you have very strong work experience, beyond the 3 years minimum perhaps, and in quite strong managerial roles perhaps already, or even that you've really challenged yourself in terms of your work experience and you can really impress our academic directors with that. If that all is strong already, your GMAT doesn't really matter, meaning that you most likely will get a good GMAT score in any case, and we encourage you to do as well as possible because it does stay on your records and your CV going forward. But we won't necessarily be looking at it for admissions. What we want is a strong academic background already and strong work experience. Because we do know that the GMAT, depending on where you're from and what kind of system you've learned to study in, you might, be more prone to succeed in that kind of exam than others. And also GMAT centers aren't really everywhere around the world, and we like to encourage diversity. So it's not something we look at very strongly, but it's still something we need for September 1st when programs start.
Okay, and Hajar Habibi asks, how important is French to find a job after the internship? Do I need to know it for the internship?
Okay, I'm going to take this one. So my answer is, if you are looking for a career primarily in France, I would, like I said, I would recommend you to take the classes, and it would be something that some companies would look for. But to be honest, they're not expecting you to have perfect French. They don't want you to speak like a native speaker. All right? They are quite happy to understand the diversity that you bring in, the difference of culture, the work experience, and everything, all the great stuff that international students bring. But somewhere for them, if they have a local market that they need to work with, then it does become important that you at least can manage to speak and communicate. So I would say B1, B2, if that speaks to you, that should be pretty good. A B2 is perfect. So again, if you are in countries that have the Alliance Française, then I would recommend enrolling for a couple of these courses starting now, which still gives you a good 8 months ahead of you to get like 1 or 2 levels in. And then once you come in here and you're on the campus and you're in Nantes, then it's just about practicing and getting good at it. Because even if your program starts in September 2020, you're not going to be interviewing immediately. You'll start interviewing only like in 2021. So between now and 2021, I can see most students having a pretty good grip on the language if you're really keen on the country. So what I wouldn't want is for somebody to come in and say, oh, I thought everything would be only in English. The French are very proud. They love their country. They love their language. So I think it's a little bit of concession. You have to find the balance between the two worlds.
Yeah, indeed. Academically, your program is in English. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
All your classes are in English.
Career services as well. All career services is only in English.
Yeah. All the staff here are international, and English is the lingua franca here on campus.
Yeah.
However, you will be living in France, and outside the campus doors, any French you have is going to just make your experience more enjoyable, and in terms of recruitment, it'll just get you in the door faster. Doesn't mean that you won't get in the door even if you don't speak any French, but having that little bit of French and introducing yourself to the receptionist will get you in the right door faster.
Yeah, and also treat it as another chance to learn a new language. I think it could be fun. Yeah. MBA along with French.
Yeah. And Shaila mentioned the Alliance Française and Campus France. I'd like to talk a bit about that. The Alliance Française is about promoting French language and culture, and they have offices right across the globe. Let us know where you're from, and I'm sure they confirm that they do have an office. And sometimes they are all mixed in with the French embassy. So under the French embassy, you'll have the Alliance Française, you'll have people in charge of Campus France. Campus France is all about helping internationals to study in France. And there's probably a Campus France in your city. They're in most main big cities around the world. And in any case, you have to be in contact with Campus France for your visa application. So they're the dedicated office within the embassy that help our graduates, our candidates that have admissions to Audencia to go through the visa process. And they can provide information about French language courses. They also have other scholarships often. So scholarship opportunity with Audencia, but you can extend that further with French government scholarships with Campus France. So yes, just look up Campus France in your city, in your city where you are, and I'm sure there'll be an office. And reach out to them, send them an email, inquire about scholarship opportunities for studying in France.
Okay, thank you. And Nadine May asks, I would like more information on the scholarships and deadlines. Also, what other funding opportunities are there? I wanted to apply for a student loan through Prodigy Finance. Are you familiar with them?
Student loan and scholarships.
Yes. Great, thank you. So in terms of scholarships with Audencia for the full-time MBA program, you won't get any more than a 50% tuition fee waiver. And you already have a great opportunity to get that automatically if you apply before January 31st. So get going, send in your application, and that's that. If you miss that deadline, there is an executive leaders fellowship, which is more a project-based scholarship you can apply to. So entrepreneurship is huge on campus, and we want to attract those with an entrepreneurial mindset. So if you have a business idea, a business plan, send that to us. And if we're convinced by the innovation, really, when we're convinced that it really is an innovation, either within the company you're working with, and you propose kind of an innovation within it, or you're looking to set up your own business and it's innovating your sector in some way, we'll be happy to sponsor that idea with a 50% tuition fee waiver. So that's the Executive Leaders Fellowship. For those that missed the January 31st deadline, but don't miss it. And then beyond that, I talked about diversity. So basically, I need to know what nationality you are, and I need to double check my database if you are an underrepresented nationality and you've represented a minority within the classroom in the last years. Then we'll be happy to provide a diversity scholarship, because the program is all about having people from right across the globe come together to study, and we want to encourage that. Beyond that, then my number one advice is to contact Campus France, because depending on what country you're in, the policies are different, and the offers are different. So they would be the best people to inform you. They also work with local government. So for example, if you're in Russia, they'll be working with the Russian government and the French government on co-funding Russians looking to study in France. So there's really a world of opportunity there with Campus France. So do contact them in your city of origin. And loans. We work with a number of banks here in France. However, often they need a guarantor here resident in France. So sometimes our international students have some relatives already in France. They can act as a guarantor on a French loan, and that works out. And we have a number of banks that we have preferential rates with, so that's a possibility. And then depending on what country you're in, we have agreements with so many different institutions. For example, in Mexico, we work with FUNED, who offer a scholarship loan system, Colfuturo in Colombia, so Banco de Mexico again in Mexico. So let us know where you are, and we can let you know what kind of agreements we have with what institutions, and we can go from there. Either here by chat, but I also might need to double check our database, so feel free to send that kind of question also by email to international@audencia.com, and you'll have a reply within 24 hours from one of myself or one of my colleagues. Thank you.
Okay, great. And Nadine mentioned that she is from South Africa, actually.
Okay, great. South Africa, off the top of my head, I don't think we have any specific agreements apart from Campus France. So I think there, I definitely encourage you to contact Campus France, because I'm quite sure that they do have schemes running. And the earlier you apply, the better for these kind of schemes. So often, yes, we're talking about January, March latest. So all the more reason to also gain admissions, so that your request for scholarships is treated more seriously, if you already have admissions into a school in France. As I said, the process is about a week to 2 weeks here on campus, and then once you have that official registration letter, send Campus France South Africa an email saying, I'm already admitted into school in France, any opportunities running. And if you send me an email at international@audencia.com, I can also reach out to our reps in South Africa for you, and put you in contact with the right people.
Okay, and another question, are there any exchange modules with other business schools?
Yes, within the full-time MBA program, you have the opportunity to go on a study week to MIP in Italy and Exeter, University of Exeter in the UK. So that's during your second semester, and you're basically free to kind of look at their catalog of courses and see if there's anything you're missing within your knowledge that you'd like to gain from them. And yeah, that's a great opportunity that most of our MBA programs candidates do take. And it's an opportunity also to explore Europe and network there, and etc.
Okay, and Masha Alexey asks, which are the disciplines that are concentrated in Master in Management program?
Can I ask you to repeat that question?
We didn't hear that question.
Of course. Which are the disciplines that are concentrated in Master in Management program?
The Master in Management program. I think you're referring to the Grand École program.
Yeah.
There are a number of specializations that are grouped within 3 main categories. Specializations in marketing. So we have, for example, marketing for product managers, marketing in the digital age, specializations in finance, for example, corporate finance, or specialization in management in general. That could be a specialization in consulting, for example, or management in emerging markets and so on. So 3 main poles of marketing, finance, or strategy in general.
Okay, and another question from Nadine. Is study material included in the tuition?
Yeah, good question. Yes, pretty much, meaning that we're not going to be requiring you to buy any books. You do need to have a laptop. You need to come with that, and that isn't included within tuition. But any other materials you need beyond that, in terms of your case studies, your reading material, all that is provided. And we have an amazing media tech, as we call it here, because it's books, but it's also a lot of online resources and online platforms where you can, get very specialized cases and resources on here on campus. And our colleagues at the Media Center are there to help you. And you can book a meeting with them if you have a specific research topic you want to work on, or looking for resources in a specific area.
Yeah, because at the Mediatek, which is the library, if you're doing your thesis, you have databases, which again are, as an individual, which will cost you a lot of money, but Audencia buys it for you, and with your audencia.com email ID, it allows you access, and it's a similar concept for career services. So there's a whole bunch of online tools that we have available to you, like country guides that you can download, depending on wherever you want to go, industry guides, like if you want to know more about the consulting world, top 25 consulting companies in Europe or around wherever it is that you want. So all of these, you'll just have to use your login and you get direct access, and it's all available to students internally.
Okay, thank you. And the other question is, some business schools assist with an extended student visa to provide for more time in finding a job in the country. Does Audencia offer the same system?
Can I get you to repeat that, please?
Yeah.
Of course. Some business schools assist with an extended student visa to provide for more time in finding a job in the country. Does Audencia offer the same assistance?
Yeah, very good question. Now, in terms of visas, honestly, no business school can guarantee that you'll get a visa. It's all really in the hands of the state and the embassies and consulates in charge of that. So really, it's not a guarantee that any school can make. However, yes, indeed, we'll be there to support you in terms of anything you might need for that visa application. Any supporting documents you might need, and pointing to you to the right people. And the right people in most places is Campus France. They're the ones, they're the staff within the embassy that work with students, and they know Audencia very well, and they know that you're going to a very reputable school, and once you have your admissions to Audencia, your application or your query will be dealt with. So yeah, and in terms of, maybe the question was also about stay back visas, we have seen that students have been able to get stay back visas, meaning that after the program, if they'd like to kind of spend more time searching for a job and finding the perfect match for them, they can apply for an extension of their student visa with the prefecture here in Nantes. And we've seen that that has often been granted for a number of months. Again, depending on where you're from, the policy is different, but that is definitely a possibility. You can always apply for a stay back visa. However, what we're working towards is for you to land either an internship or a job after your academic semester. And that's, that's what we really wish for all our students, and that's what mainly happens. So people go from a student visa into a work visa.
So another question from Colin Hastings. Which is more important for admission, exams or essay?
Admissions, your exams, your grades is more important. When you mean essay, maybe you're referring to the cover letter. Basically, we're very objective in our admissions process, meaning that we look at the facts, and we're looking at your grades, and we're looking at your work experience. So yes, the most important thing is your grades. Your cover letter is just a way of just telling us why you're applying for the program, and just reassuring us that there's a match there. For example, if you're looking to apply to the Food and Agribusiness Management program, we want to know that you have a vision of working in that sector later on, and your cover letter isn't talking about a totally different sector. So we just want to make sure you're going into the right program for yourself. And that's also confirmed in the interview stage. So don't worry too much about squeezing everything into the cover letter. The main thing is that in the interview, you'll have the opportunity also to convince us. But yeah, the key thing is your grades and your work experience for the full-time MBA program specifically. And also for the other programs, it's quite true.
So these are all the questions. I would like to thank you again for the interesting presentation and for answering all of the questions. And thank you for joining us.